Good morning. Good evening in the States. And if you're up partying in Europe or the UK, feel like getting your harmonic slur on, now's the time. Now, I'm giving this metronome one more chance. If you saw yesterday, it's working so far. We'll see what happens. Did I go to a birthday party last night? Yes. Did I play lots? Yes. Am I tired? Yes. Did I have a late night? No. Did I have a lemonade or two? Maybe. Am I feeling a little dodgy? Possibly. Did I get up at 7:30 and teach online for 2.5 hours? Yes. Do I feel like doing harmonic slurs right now? No. But sometimes when we go to when we want to develop skills, we need to practice, even when we don't feel like it. And if I wasn't doing this challenge, could I honestly say that I would be doing harmonic slurs or doing any practice? Maybe, possibly, maybe a bit later in the day. But I have to drive an hour and a half, do a 3-hour rehearsal, then a 3-hour gig, and then drive an hour and a half to get home again. So it's going to be a long day. So am I smart? No, I'm not always that smart. But anyway, sometimes, point being, we've got to do it. If I was in massive learning mode as a beginner or as just someone who wanted to improve, yep, you just got to practice when you don't feel like it. So that's what today's about. That being said, I'm not going to play heaps and because I need to leave. But there was no way that I was going to miss a day of doing this challenge. So by the end of the 5 weeks, there will be 35 days of harmonic slurs. And I have, as I said yesterday, the last couple of days, I've really been able to feel the flow-on effect from doing the stuff that we're doing, both in the breathing, opening up, and in just all-round playing. I could feel it last night. We can all, I don't care what standard of play you are, I don't care what instrument you play, if it's a wind instrument that involves the mouth and the body, we can all let go, even if it's 1%, we can all let go 1%, we can all make more sound, we can all play more easily. And the process that we're going through here, again, you know, you're going to get sick of me doing it if you're coming every day. I don't care. There's the breath. I'm teaching someone who's got vocal dystonia, and we're working through all these little tricky things to short circuit the triggers and all this sort of thing. And a lot of it is a focus on the breath in. What's the first thing we do? Open up and then hum. There's no squeeze of the balloon. It's not hard to do, okay? And the trigger for this person that I'm teaching, this happens and a shake happens at the moment of as soon as the brain thinks about executing a note, it triggers. And so on that point, a lot of the videos that I've got coming in for the challenge, and it's awesome that you're sending them in, it's fantastic, thank you. But I can guarantee there is, in most of those videos, the way people are playing and the way they would feel when they're humming are worlds apart. And we're working on efficiency here, and people just do not believe that can create a note. And I demonstrate it every day. I don't care. Eventually the message will get through. And you know, I played a couple of notes before, and I'm beat up after last night, which is stupid given the gig I've got today. But anyway, it was fun. And you can tell when I start talking, and I've shown in the last couple of weeks different videos of different examples of people doing this in the professional environment, just letting the instrument speak, energizing the air in the pipe, not actively pushing through it until you need to for volume and long notes. But we want to start off, and this whole slur, even yesterday there was this beautiful moment. I was running out of air and I couldn't get a particular speed for a particular time, and then I played a very soft note just to remind myself of the feeling, carried that through and ticked 2 boxes. Amazing. So again, if you're new here, click the link below and start the challenge from week 1. And what we do at the end of each week, I won't look, at the end of 5 weeks, you look back at the first week chart and go, wow, that's better now than what it was 5 weeks ago. And a lot of people won't do the 5 weeks. They won't do it. You only have to come in, even for 5 minutes a day, not even that 2 minutes, come and check in. Do it 3 days a week, but you're constantly practicing at your limits. But interestingly, that if people look forward and go, 5 weeks is a long time to focus on something, yet they'll be happy to practice over that 5-week period with not much direction. But saying to someone, be directed practice for the next 5 weeks can be quite challenging. Are you up for the challenge? So here we go. Again, I'm going to demonstrate. So the process that I'm working on with my student is focusing on the inwards. There is no execution. There is no blow, because as soon as she thinks about shaping and blowing, it triggers the issue. So as soon as we start focusing on the breath in, and then this is going all Zen in the art of archery, but at what point does the bow get released? Does it shoot? Do you loose the bow? At that point, what is that point? The highest tension. What's the highest tension? Imagine a leaf with a drop of water rolling down. Leaf on a tree, drop of water, and the leaf bends, and the water leaf bends, and next minute, bang. When does that drop? Doesn't matter when. Don't try and control it. When I'm picking this up, when am I going to drop the mouthpiece? I don't know. So the effort is the up, and the drop is the release of the air. At the top of the breath, we're relaxing. I don't want any conscious thought on the turnaround of the air, because that creates an activation, and generally an activation is too much work. We tighten up, where what we want to do is just for this purpose. Now obviously there are times where we need to get the air in, hold, release. That's okay, that's different. But for now, and especially the start of the day, and especially with beat up chops, I'd do the 4 steps. Open up, more sound, more resonance through the horn. Aperture corners engaging, no pinch in the middle. Inward movement. If you haven't done the Largo status at Windworks, you're jumping ahead by being here on week 3. What's it, day 6 of week 3? Crikey. And it's gone so fast. Anyway, corners in. Then disengage the voice. So we're learning how not to pinch. We're learning the airflow required to play with a big resonant sound in the low register. Air in. Relax. Sympathetic oscillation of the lip tissue. Thank you to the science and physics and whatever's going on in this pipe. But it's that restriction or the resistance of the pipe that comes back and makes the lip vibrate. Resonance is 2 mediums oscillating at the same frequency. Medium 1, body. Medium 2, instrument. The sound that you hear is the combination of instrument and body. There is already air in the trumpet. So, if I've got air behind my lips, I need to open my lips and let the sound of the trumpet back in to create that concoction of body and instrument. What a random concept. If I've got air behind my lips, let the vibration from the instrument come back into the mouth and into the body. With that idea of open up and let the air back in, or let the vibration back in, will stop the psychology of blow. overexertion. So the same thing here. If I do a poo attack, my fingers are the lips. If I open the fingers, air escapes. No squeezing of the balloon. So if I fill my lung balloon and then put my lips in the way, there's no blow. There's no blow. So if I do that onto the instrument, I'm letting the energy of the instrument add to the body. Random concept, but we're just trying to break the psychology of blow, blow, blow. All right? So on that note, the 4 steps, mau, mau, and that's all passive. So I'll start off, and you can feel the tingle. Make it look simple, I know that, and I'm going through it quickly. It's not simple to do correctly, and it's all explained at the Largo stage, so make sure you go through it. So I'm flying through what I would normally do as a warm-up, just because we're streaming live here. Some tonguing. Watch the video poo, lip, coo, KMT, and 2. 5 releases. So poo. Literally just opening the lips. Then tongue between the lips. Coo, the back of the tongue. K modified tonguing. Tip of the tongue stays behind the lower teeth. So lower teeth, your tongue drops down. And then tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth somewhere. So there's 5 different articulations, and there's also breath attack, of course. But the breath attack doesn't address the concept of the release of the air from the balloon, where poo, lip, coo, KMT, and 2 are all releases, so they're slightly different. So getting the response at the middle of the lip without any kicking. Do some harmonic slurs. And that's basically the first thing I do every day, except it take longer to do it. Now, so that warm-up went to the G, and in week 1 we did E flat to A flat. E to A, second week. F to B flat. And there is the distinct difference between there is a distinct difference in the shape, and you might find that going up to that range, we've got the magnifying glass out. We're going, where does the body's concert hall feeling, slow, soft breath, where does that feeling turn into happen somewhere? That's what we're looking for. So hopefully it's not at the F to B flat. So without any further, I'm not going to do many today because I do have to get on the road and get to this gig. So I'll use it as a bit of a warm-up. Now, if you've been watching through, you will have seen that I have to do my long note, which is going to feel awful. It's going to hurt today. You've got to play for at least a minute on a long tone, which is my limit. Figure out what your limit is and try and break it every day. So using the breathing bag. So we're learning to have that feeling At the top of the breath, there's no locking. Locking here, the choking happens to everyone, especially when we're doing harmonic slurs. So you need to be able to imagine the sensation of moving the mouth. At the end of the day, it's the aperture corners here that stimulate the pitch change without that closing up. It's the big thing. And then I'll get my Voldine, which is down here. See what happens today. I normally peak at the 4,500, which is weird because I used to be able to top it at 5. Maybe in another couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. So I got halfway between 4.5 and 5. So interesting. Four and a half. So, but just doing that, getting that stretch in the body, when you go to play, instantly you've got, it's so important. Small breath, more push, and we're constantly working on using what we've got. We can't increase our vital capacity, but we can use more efficiently what we've got naturally. So now, yes, there's pain involved, but I said I was do it every day. I've got to play a long tone. The other day, got 75 seconds, but that doesn't exist anymore. Yesterday, I got to 60 just. See what happens today. Do a couple of deep breaths. What I'm doing is lowering the carbon dioxide levels in the brain, so then it takes longer to build up, so you can play for longer. It's painful sometimes, but when you do it, you can feel as soon as you stop. And I can totally feel last night's gig in the chops. So generally, I would take this very slowly and warm up. But given we are under time constraints here today, 1:44. How long do I need to go for? $50 seconds. So I start off at 1:44 and I'm just going to do every beat and make sure. How long will this metronome survive? I've got another one on standby on my phone just in case. Again, that feeling open, the release. So if you are doing this at home, sit there and close your eyes and hum. Make it active by using the abdominal wall. Forcing the abdominal muscles up, so you're pushing the diaphragm up, so it's increasing lung pressure. We don't want to be doing that here, but I want you to recognize the feeling of it. Then feel this, check it out. I've just filled the balloon, I'm humming. It's the same feeling. I want the lips. Here's the mantra. If you don't know the Windworks Mystery to Mastery mantra, you're jumping ahead. I want the lips to interact with the air as if they're the vocal cords. It's just that. So close your eyes. If it doesn't feel the same, if you feel like you're kicking with the body, recognize it, eliminate it over time. Not sure how? Easy. Work through the course. Simple as that. It's all there. So I've done 8 seconds. I'll go for 8 beats. I'll go 5 seconds. All right. Now, so I need to get 50. Isn't it funny? I think I knew from the start that I wasn't going to get that 50 seconds yet. It's annoying because it's not annoying, it's interesting because I can feel that I've got the control of the corners and I know that I can play for over 50 seconds, but still trying to put them both together. Have a look at the gradient here. This is what we're looking for. So there's something going on where I could hold that one, and those went for over 60 seconds. I think they're both 65. But why does it drop off the faster it gets? That's the whole point. So you might only want to come in and do one time limit. Figure out, can you tick another box? Now, it doesn't matter that I'm not ticking a box. You're still pushing your boundary. You're still working. It doesn't take more effort. It doesn't take more energy to go for longer. It takes less work. Good breath, less work, less push. Awareness, freedom, alignment, balance. And that's, again, I haven't even got 5 seconds of 208 yet. So you could come in and do your time limit as well. So if I jump right across to 208, because, you haven't got much time, but you still want to push your limits every day, go rightio, do the preparatory exercise. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. So clearly I can move my mouth independent of the body. So that's the feeling of it. If I grab visualizer and tissue, if we know that the body can do it, why does the instrument stop us? It's all feeling cool. Soon as you've got the response from the mouthpiece, it does change the dynamic. It does make it feel a little bit different. And as Arnold Jacobs says in Song and Wind, do not push against the resistance of the instrument. You've got to feel that, but don't kick against it, because that's going to lock everything up, tighten the lip, maybe create some back pressure in the throat, do some choking, or just recognize that back pressure of it. Don't push against it. So 208. One beat. So I can do 1 beat. Logic says I can do 2. Do 2. Logic says you can do 4. You can do 4. Logic says you can do 8. It was there. It wasn't spot on. It's not great, and that takes about 2.5 seconds. The logic goes, if you can do 2.5 seconds, you should be able to do 5. All of a sudden, 5 seconds feels like a really long time when you're trying to maintain that speed, and I haven't nailed it yet. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. So the things to watch out for. When the demand is faster, do you tend to push more? Do things tighten up? Do you start to choke? Or are you simply... That's for you to look very deeply with your eyes closed. All right, that's the feeling. So if I go back to 200. Again, what? Without the voice. It's a tiny change of the aperture corners here that stimulates the pitch change. It's not tongue position. And here's my... It's brand new, this metronome. It's clearly got an issue. Nope. Alright, so that's history. So trusty iPhones. Here we go. So 200. We've done the preparatory exercise. We know the feeling of it. What? Hum. No more work than that. Can't hear it properly. No, that's 8. Hope it's not deafening you through the mic, but I can't hear it while I'm playing. Five seconds. So it's all kinds of messy. But again, God forbid I get on a gig and have to do harmonic slurs at that speed. You know, good luck. Although they are, it is used for doing trills on, you know, think of the early Baroque players, natural trumpets, harmonic slurs like nothing else, amazing range, all of that sort of stuff, incredible. 192. Haven't ticked a box today. Doesn't matter, because coming back and exploring your boundaries is the important thing. And it's not until you'll do it, and I know it'll happen with some of these, I'll come back and do it every day, and do it every day. You won't tick a box, won't tick a box, won't tick a box, won't tick a box, come back, and then all of a sudden you'll tick 1 box, and you'll tick 2 boxes, and tick 3 boxes, and that's when you move to the next level of technical development. That's what we're working on. seconds. It's really, 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 really close. It was kind of there, but again, it's got to be in control. So I'm not gonna entertain that. I'm just gonna go because there is an obvious. I'll do these two because there's an obvious discrepancy there and there. So I'll see if we can get that one up to speed, which is 50, and it is 126. So clearly, it's not a breath issue. But it's just aligning, for having everything come together at the same time. There is nothing cooler than coming back on a practice day and going, oh, that's what I need to do. Not, what am I going to do today? What do I need to work on? No. This is what I'm capable of doing. I just need to improve something. So we want to get 126 at 50 seconds. Open. Just under the minute. So 50, 55. So that looks more like it. Now again, is it the most beautiful sound? No, we're not working on sound here. We're working on pushing for as long as we can. So to go for as long as you can, you've got to conserve air. So I'm taking it back to the point of almost no note. All right? We can indulge in sound all we like. If we set the challenge of how long can we go for making a beautiful sound, that's a whole different ball game. We here are making the middle of the lip respond, oscillate, vibrate in response to really, really limited air pressure, airflow. So it's making it really responsive, as opposed to the middle of the lip relying on massive force and pressure. If you're relying on that pressure, it's inefficient. It's going to affect flexibility. It's going to affect range, endurance, all that sort of stuff. So we're trying to optimize our efficiency. That's it in a nutshell. We're trying to optimize our efficiency. And in trying to create a beautiful sound, you're going to engage musculature that doesn't necessarily is not necessarily required to play that way. I want the system to be as efficient as possible. And then I showed the video yesterday of Sergei Nakarikov playing the final movement of Carnival of Venice. And it's almost effortless. His technique is extraordinary, just amazing facility. And what we're working, if you can play the Carnival of Venice from the Arbon, you're a reasonably good trumpet player. Okay, does it tick every box for everything we need to do as a modern professional player? Of course not. Can you play it inefficiently? Absolutely. But what I want you to recognise is if we're using our balloon approach, the passive, the reason I keep saying this, if you're watching every day, it's because I want you to have a piece that you're working on that you can start and feel the flow on effects from doing the challenge into a piece that you're working on. So, you know, if you've been watching again, you know that is my bugbear little bar, and I'll demonstrate in a minute, but I want the whole thing, right? It's that. And of course, the low note, because we're not active, is going to be louder than the middle, the middle line, which is. My chops are absolutely beat up. So if it wasn't because of this, I would not be. I'd put the horn down and come back in half an hour. And if they still felt tired, I'd put the horn down and come back in half an hour. But given the fact that we're here, I'm just going to fight through. Okay, and then the low note, which is the passive release. Let the sound back in. Don't think of the psychology of blow out that way, because you're going to engage. You can do that if you want, but it's inefficient. Where if you think of, I've got the breath, vibration back in, the note's still there, it's almost effortless. So the balloon's getting smaller. Right, then we're working on shape change, which is what the harmonic slurs are doing, without engaging the body. And we just work on, if it's too fast, I'm really trying to push it to my limit there. It's not 100% clean. Pull it back, clean it up, speed it up, speed it up. Then there's that line towards the end of it. So if we break that down, it's all it is. There's a little bit of engagement because it's loud. If I do that passively, in fact, you couldn't hear any difference in volume. So there you go. There is a bit of activity by the time we get up to that F. To keep that C the same volume, there's a tiny degree of support, and the same on the F. So what I'm working on here is the fact that psychologically, and it comes from years and years of, just thinking the incorrect way, and the way that, when I tried to work on this as a kid, all sorts of things went wrong. When we introduce pitch change, or valves, or tongue, everything grabs and pushes. And I can sit here all day long and go, no problem, and there's no blow there. The hard work here is not falling off the chair and filling the lungs. Done. So then why? I can do that over and over and over and over. But when I add it to and I don't double tongue that A. It's just my body is hardwired. So how do we do it? We slow down, we figure out what the trigger is to undo it, and then repeat good process slowly. And over time, that little, just silly little gremlin, it's the bug in the programming that's just there. I find it absolutely fascinating, the power of the brain. I will never play this piece in public. It's not what I do, but it's fun working on. That's the learning process, an awareness of little things that need to be fixed, and then being smart and emotionally detached about breaking it down and going, where am I having problems? The problems exist generally in everything that I see, and interestingly, I teach more professional players that are just fed up with the horn than I do beginners. And it comes from, I've taught players that do not know how to do harmonic slurs, never been able to do them, and they're touring, full-time players, because the psychology is blow faster to play higher. And so try going. They recognise the feeling of the body moving. They don't recognise what's going on here. And so you're very much speed limited to and they go, I've never been able to do harmonic slurs. And I just go, well, because your mind's in the wrong spot. If you go, Erin, know what triggers the pitch change, then they become nice and easy. So the difference between a low C, well, the hum, then we're adding valve, adding tongue, so why does it fall apart? It's just training. It's just ingrained in there. So I will get serious about it one day and break that little thing, break it down, get rid of it, and it's like, cool. It's just the trigger point. It's all trigger points. And everyone has different issues with their playing. Now, if there's any questions, any comments, thoughts, criticisms, queries, no, good. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because I need to go to a gig. Tomorrow is the end of week 3 already, and that's it. You know, then we've got week 4, week 5. Then I'm off for 3 weeks to Bali for a family holiday, and I'm not going to think about harmonic slurs, but I can tell already in my playing the last 3 weeks, I hope you've been on for the journey, because it's quite profound what can happen. Pure process, practicing at your limits, and observation of just observation of process and recognition and acceptance of where things are breaking down. And my main thought for today is look deeper with your humming. Really experiment with passive and active, and be really conscious of the feeling of the pressure behind the vocal cords. When we're playing, is it identical? Identical. Not just a nice idea, but identical. On that note, see you tomorrow. It will be Melbourne. I'm not in Melbourne anymore. Queensland time, Eastern Australian time, 7 p.m. So it'll be the morning in Europe, and it'll be dumb o'clock in the States. I'm going. Have a good day. Ciao.